Welcome in one and all to the High Noon stream here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. I am Pugs Moran. I do this every day, Monday through Friday, noon till, well, whenever, typically around 2 o'clock, 2-ish, 2:30, sometimes 3, sometimes 1:50. I don't know. That's rare. We do 2 streams a day. We do this one. This is High Noon. This is about topics. This is about headlines, trends, current events, pop culture, anything really that is happening in the world that people are talking about or discussing. I curate a nice little well-rounded look at the world, absent of, for the most part, divisive politics. There's some funny things in here that today that people might find divisive. I don't care. I just think they're funny. I just think they're funny or worth mentioning. But for the most part, we don't get into any of that nonsense that you might hear on AM talk radio. I don't like that stuff. This is my attempt to do a form of talk radio that is more uniting, more about all of us coming together and just laughing, maybe learning a little something. All right, so that's High Noon. That's what this is. That's what the noon show is. We come back at night and we do something called Pillow Talk. That's Monday through Thursday evenings. Pillow Talk. It's myself and James Parker. Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. That's 9 o'clock. That goes an hour, sometimes a little bit more, but typically we shoot for an hour. That's more conversational. That's more about, all right, so here's what's happening in the world today. Let's you and I spend a little bit of time digging down on one particular issue, two particular, whatever it is, but we don't get into a whole bunch of stuff. It's more conversational between me and James. Also, if you are at all familiar with the show that I used to do, in Chicago and then later for a number of years here in Dallas, my partner Kelly from the former Pugs and Kelly, I'm the Pugs part of that, Pugs and Kelly, we do a show with Parker on Monday nights. We call it Kelly More Mondays, but that's on Monday. Also on fill-in days, like if James can't be here or anything like that, Kelly will jump in. Now, I should say a fair warning about tonight's Pillow Talk show. That again is the 9 p.m. Central Time, all time Central. It's the only time I recognize. The 9 p.m. Central Time show tonight may not be a go. It may not be a go. Here's why. Okay, I'll tell you why. It's my kid's birthday. It's my kid's birthday today. He's 13. He's a teenager. Look at that. He made it through his teenagers. That's some kind of, you got to check that box on the parenting thing, although most of the credit is due to his mom. He made it to being 13, and I might be busy. I don't know yet for sure, but I might be busy. So if you follow on Twitter at Pugs and Co on Twitter, that's Pugs Pugs and Co Pugs and Co, or just Pugs Moran on Twitter. I think I'm pretty much the only one. I'll give you updates there. Also on Facebook, which, I don't even know. What is my Facebook? I don't even know how to tell people what my Facebook is. I am so unfamiliar with Facebook these days, but I do put updates up there. Who am I on Facebook? Am I Pugs Moran on Facebook? Yeah, I think you can just find me as Pugs Moran on Facebook as well. I thought it used to be John Pugs on because that's my real name, John. My mom didn't name me Pugs. But no, okay, so it's Pugs Moran on Facebook. You can find me there. Be looking, if you don't follow me on those two platforms, because I'll give you updates about tonight. All right, let's see who's here. We got Jeff's here. Hiya, Jeff. Al's here. Happy birthday. Thank you. My little mijo. Byron is here. Good. Stars are playing Take the Night Off. Ed says happy birthday, Mace. Thank you, Ed. That's nice. John is here. Look at John. John's my gadfly friend. He's all over the place. He's in Vegas. He's on the West Coast. He's always checking in from somewhere. Looks like we've got JBM checking in. It's always good to see her. She adds a lot. April is here. April, thank you. So April sent a donation. By the way, the show runs on donations. Venmo, you can see it there at the bottom of the thing page screen. Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. We take your tips. So, treat me like a bartender. Just throw me a tip every now and again if you like it. I appreciate that. That's how the show runs. We depend entirely on your tips. We don't have any advertising. April sent a tip yesterday, very nice, with a very nice message for my kid on his birthday, which was a very nice touch. Very nice touch. Thank you, April. April is one of the great supporters, great tippers of the show. So thank you very much, April. That's awesome. Let's see here. Let's get into what today is. Today is May the 11th. It is high noon on May the 11th, year of our Lord 2022. It's the 131st day of the year. There are 234 days remaining until the end of the year. How we run down this show is we start off by telling you everything about today, everything that you need to know about this day. That typically begins with a look at the national calendar. What is today? What is today the day of? It's National Third Shift Workers Day. Let me tell you, I have a lot of love for the third shift worker. I love the third shift worker. I've said this many times, and people are like, "What, really?" My favorite. It seems like in my entire radio history, which began on Groundhog's Day, 1992, in my entire working in radio history, I worked 2 times, 2 different shifts on the overnight shift, the third shifter shift. Oh man, I love overnights. I wish. I mean, you want to know what my dream job is? My dream job in radio is to just host an overnight talk show in the middle of the night. Just middle of the night talking. I mean, it is third shifters are different birds. They are different kinds of people, and they are awesome. They are fun. They're a little crazy, oftentimes drunk. I mean, you get drunks out at bars who are awesome. You get young people. You get a lot of college age people, and you also get a lot of old people who just can't sleep because of all that stuff. I loved it. I loved doing the overnights. I'm telling you, Art Bell. Remember Art Bell? Remember that guy? God rest his kooky soul. Art Bell had like the greatest setup in the history of radio, if you're asking me. I mean, that's just how I love it. Now, his content was a little bit, aliens and paranormal. I wouldn't want to be pigeonholed into doing exclusively that kind of stuff. Oh, but I get into that stuff. I would get into it because it's nighttime. You can do creepy stuff. So happy National Third Shift Workers Day. It's also School Nurse Day. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get into my hot take on school nurses because I love nurses. In general, I love nurses. Nurses are awesome. Talk about a group of people that just are professionally crapped on. That's nurses, just literally, nurses get professionally crapped on, but they're also figuratively crapped on by a lot of people. However, the school nurse is an interesting animal. The school nurse, I don't. My kid has a lot of dealings with the school nurse because my son has a little bit of con man in him. And when he's not feeling up to a particular class, he will suddenly develop a stomach ache or something like that. And we've had recently, I've had some questions about the qualifications of the school nurse. I don't think she's seeing the con. I think I don't know. Or is it that school nurses are just like, yeah, whatever, dude. Did you have beds at your school nurse? We had like a little infirmary. And it was awesome when I was in school. Like I'd walk in, I didn't want to take a test or something. I don't want to go to the nurse. I don't feel good. And she wouldn't even ask anything, our school nurse. She would just be like, all right, go lay down. And I just go and climb into a bed for an hour. It's great. It was like, yeah. And then sometimes, and I only figured this out like later in my high school career. If I went to the school nurse and I said I had to use the restroom because there was no bathroom in the school nurse's little area, I would get out of the bed and I'd be like, I need to go to the bathroom. And she'd be like, okay, go. See, and the key would be to tell her that you're feeling like you got, a stomach kind of thing. So that means that you're not held to the typical time you should be in the bathroom. And I would just go to lunch. That was like one of the ways that I would just get another lunch. I would just be like, I don't feel so good. And then she'd be like, okay, here, take the nurse's pass. And I'd take the nurse's pass and I'd just go down to lunch. I put the nurse's pass in my pocket and I'd sit down. And then at some point, one of the lunchroom attendants who is just a teacher on break. They stand around the lunchroom and make sure that every once in a while, because unfortunately I was known in my high school. My teachers knew me. I would be like sitting there at a lunch table with a bunch of people that I'm not normally there. And teacher would come up and be like, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here?" And be like, "Okay, I was just stopping by. I got a pass," and I'd flash the pass and then I'd leave. But I don't know. I think school nurses, either they don't care and they're just like, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to argue with a 15-year-old about whether or not they have a stomach ache. Or they're just really bad at being duped by kids who are faking. Because I have to imagine that 8 out of 10 kids that go to the school nurse are faking. However, you need stitches. Somebody busts something open on the gym court or something like that. I guess they come in handy. It's National Receptionist Day. National Receptionist Day. All right. Very good. It's National Eat What You Want Day. Oh, not in this part of the world. I am back on my diet. We had a birthday dinner last night with I had chop suey. My kid had what I could only describe as a bucket of macaroni and cheese. I'm like, "What do you want for dinner?" He's like, "Oh, cheeseburger, mac and cheese." I'm like, "Really? That's what you want for your birthday dinner?" He goes, "I want a lot of it." So I'm like, "Okay. All right, there you go." And then there was some celebratory sweets and all that stuff. It was big birthday dinner last night. Let's see. It's also National Foam Rolling Day. I don't know what that is, so we'll move past. It's National Twilight Zone Day. Twilight Zone. I'll tell you, I don't even know what this is. Is this about the TV show? Because if it is, let me go off on Rod Serling a little bit. Go off on a good way. Rod Serling, who created the Twilight Zone, he died very early. I think he died in the 70s or something. I don't know when he died, but he died very young. This guy was like one of the most prolific television writers in history. Not only is he responsible for every episode of the Twilight Zone, which were good. I mean, it wasn't like just hacky stuff. I mean, this guy, you want to talk about a creative genius. So there you go. That's our celebration of National Twilight Zone Day. And he hosted the show. Let's see here. What are we celebrating on this day? What happened in history on this day? Oh, this is interesting, and I typically don't go back this far, but I'll mention it because there's a correlation between me and my kid. Okay, so on this day, May the 11th, which is my kid's birthday, Alexander, he of the greats, Alexander the Great, becomes the emperor of the Byzantine Empire. That was on this day in 912. On my kid's birthday. Now, why is this interesting? The day that Alexander the Great ascended to emperor of the Byzantine Empire. Because Alexander the Great shares my birthday. That's right. Me and Alexander the Great. You every time somebody's like, "Oh, I share a birthday with Mick Jagger." I'm like, "Yeah, I share one with Alexander the Great," which I understand is kind of a little sketchy because you're going all the way back to like the 9s. Who knew, not BCs or whatever it is? I don't know. How accurate were they with logging people's birthdays back then? Did they know Alexander was going to be the Alexander the Great back when he was born? So, his birth. But anyway, it's claimed to be July the 20th, which is my birthday. And it was also the day, May 11th, my son's birthday, that he ascended to emperor of the Byzantine Empire. On this day in 1960, Adolf Eichmann is captured by the Mossad in Argentina. And I am sure the Mossad handled him with kid gloves. They probably kicked. He's a Nazi, if you don't know who Adolf Eichmann is. And he's one of the worst Nazis. Yesterday, we talked about Hess, who was an idiot because he tried to end the war by parachuting unsanctioned into Scotland, and they got caught. We told that story yesterday. Adolf Eichmann. Okay, so Hess was bad because Hess was like he was like Hitler's vice guy, like vice president, until they moved Goering in there. But anyway, he was bitter. But he was like second in command. He like helped write Mein Kampf. That's Rudolf Hess. And so I put him as like one of the worst of the Nazis. But Adolf Eichmann might be the worst of the Nazis. Adolf Eichmann might even be, and walk with me on this, he might even be worse than Adolf Hitler. He might be. Uh, because what is the worst thing Hitler did? Oh God, that's somebody's gonna take this out of context. Look, Hitler did a lot of bad things. Poland, France, war against the entire world. But I think when you think about what was the real monstrosity of Hitler, it was the Holocaust, right? It was the concentration camps and it was the extermination of the Jews. That's what we think of as, well, at least I do, as like the absolute most horrifying thing that Adolf Hitler was responsible for. Except no, that was Adolf Eichmann. The final solution was Adolf Eichmann's plan. Final solution was the idea of exterminating the Jews from Germany. That was Adolf Eichmann. He did that. That was him. Like he put that in Hitler's head. He was like, "Hey, Adolf, I got an idea." And sure, Hitler was like, "Okay, we can do that." But it was Eichmann who came up with the final solution. And on this day in 1960, he was captured in Argentina by the Mossad. I bet the Mossad just kicked the shit out of him. I mean, right? How could you not? He was probably an old man by 1960, although not decrepitly old. He was probably 60. He could still take a beating. He was probably got a beating. On this day in 1970, the Lubbock tornado kills 26 people and causes $250 million in damage. On this day in 1996, okay, this is now, if you remember some of the earlier shows that we used to do here, I used to run down a list of plane crashes. I don't do the plane crashes anymore. There are plane crashes every single day. And it got to the point where I was like, I don't ever want to fly again. There's just plane crashes occurred on days of history way too much. Like there's some days there are like 10 plane crashes. Like, oh, geez. Anyway, I will mention this one because this was a big one. In 1996, after the aircraft's departure from Miami, a fire started by improperly handled chemical oxygen generators in the cargo hold of an Atlanta-bound ValueJet Airlines. ValueJet Airline Flight 592. It caused the Douglas DC-9 to crash into the Florida Everglades, killing 110 people, all 110 people on board. Now, if you remember, and I remember this was horrifying. I remember reading all of these details. Oh my God. Okay, so the plane crashed into the Everglades and they had difficulty identifying people because the alligators and stuff just ate all the oh man. Oh God. I mean, what was left? I mean, I don't know. Did it, because it crashed into the Everglades, did it not disintegrate? Did the water do something? I don't know. But oh God, there were just some awful stories. The other one that was really bad was, I don't want to talk about it. Never mind. There was another bad one that happened over Pittsburgh where it crashed into a forest, or the plane, something had in their bodies hanging from trees. We don't need to go into that. Plane crashes are terrible. And I don't do them anymore for a reason. But on this day, it was the ValueJet one that crashed into the Everglades. On this day in 1997, Deep Blue, the supercomputer, it defeated Garry Kasparov in the last game of a rematch between the two. It became the first computer to beat a world champion chess player in a classic match format. I don't know what any of that means, but I assume computers can beat people at everything now. So there you go. But it was on this day in 1997, Deep Blue. Let's do some births. Aside from my kid, who was born on this day in 2011, Salvador Dali was born on this day in 1904. Weirdo Spanish artist. He had the weirdo, probably clinically insane. But as I always say with creative geniuses, most creative geniuses are a little bit insane. They're a little bit nut. Don't make me talk about Kanye again. Kanye's a nutbag. Kanye is certifiably insane. And yet he goes into a studio and he makes some stuff that is really, really cool. So, it's maybe it takes a crazy person to see things in a way that other people can't see. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Born on this day in 1911, a guy by the name of Phil Silvers. And I always mention him because I am fascinated by the megastars that history forgets. Phil Silvers was a megastar. Nobody knows who nobody born after 1970 knows who Phil Silvers is. He played a character named Sergeant Bilko. He was a comedian and TV star and all that stuff. When did he die? He died in 1985. he was a big star. I remember seeing a documentary on Phil Silvers, and I'm like, ain't nobody know who this guy is. And I'm watching it, I'm like, Now, may have been one of those situations like Behind the Music. You remember watching VH1's Behind the Music, where they would take a band that you like just kind of know about, that, they're not the Beatles or the Rolling Stones or anything like that. But then while you're watching Behind the Music, you're like, holy shit, this band was way bigger than I am. It's always like, what? Grand Funk Railroad was the biggest band on the planet for 6 months. I had no idea. So maybe that's what it was. But Phil Silvers was very famous and nobody knows who he is. Here's another guy who was very famous who nobody knows who he is. Famous British actor. A lot of war films. When every other movie was a World War II film, this guy was in. He played every like British general and all that stuff. Bernard Fox was born on this day. Now, why am I mentioning some obscure British film actor? Because Bernard Fox was, when I was little, he was to me like the funniest guy on. He's like the first funniest guy on TV for me. And you might remember him because he was on a show called Bewitched. You remember Bewitched? He was Dr. Bombay. Remember Dr. Bombay on Bewitched? I love that guy. I was like 4 or 5 years old. Oh, if it was a Bewitched episode and Dr. Bombay showed up, forget about it. I am all in. Dr. Bombay was awesome. Born on this day in 1933, Louis Farrakhan. Talk about a divisive figure, Louis Farrakhan. I got caught in a Louis Farrakhan car procession once, and it scared the crap out of me. I lived on the south side of Chicago, and that's where the temple is, the headquarters for the Nation of Islam. And I was driving down, what would that have been, 87th Street? No, it would have been like 95th. No, not 95th Street. 79th Street. I was driving down 79th Street, and I was heading towards the Dan Ryan Expressway, heading downtown. Now, this is not a route that I would typically take, but I was running late, so I had to cut through some neighborhoods, some questionable neighborhoods, some spooky neighborhoods, some neighborhoods where you better hope there's enough gas. And so I'm at a stoplight, and I look next to me, and I see that there is like this black SUV next to me. And then I'm looking behind, it's like another identical black SUV right behind me. And I start driving, and I cut in, I put my turn signal on, and I cut over because I didn't like how close the SUV was behind me. And then I realized that another SUV pulls up right next to me. Oh my God. Hold on a second. Dr. Schwartz, we're streaming right now, so you're live on the stream. Is this important?
No.
Can I call you back?
You didn't have to answer in the first place.
Well, I thought maybe you were listening. Maybe you were enjoying my story about being caught in a Louis Farrakhan car procession and how I almost got scared to death.
You've told me that story 5 or 6 times.
I have. It's one of my go-tos. All right, I'll call you after the show.
Bye.
All right, there he goes. That's famed plastic surgeon and noted Dallas bon vivant, Dr. Robert Schwartz. So I look in my rearview mirror. Basically, what I did was I turned to avoid the SUV behind me, and I got right behind Louis Farrakhan. And at that point, the SUVs were like, "You better get out of there!" Like I'm a white guy. Like, I wasn't middle-aged at the time, but I looked like I could have been an assassin. I looked like I could have been trouble. So oh my God, they pulled up and they did that thing where I'm assuming that the car that was right in front of me was Farrakhan's, because they sped up and then another SUV cut me off and then stopped and put the blinkers on. And I was just sitting there like, oh my God. And then another one was behind me, and then another one went around me and caught back up to the car. It was my mistake. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And they had like the flags, because Farrakhan drives around on the south side like he's some head of state, which I guess to some people he is. Anyway, happy birthday, Louis Farrakhan. American, says religious leader. Okay. All right. We'll go with that. Born on this day in what day was it? Is it, born on this day in 1941. Eric Burden. Eric Burden. Was he eating animals, right? I don't know. I know he's like he's an important rock star. I have a blind spot with Eric Burdon. House of the Rising Sun. There is a house in New Orleans. I think that's him. I don't know. Maybe not. Born on this day in 1982. Corey Monteith from Glee. Remember him? The dude from Glee? He killed himself. He was like the all-American looking boy who I think was Canadian. But yeah, I don't know, boy. That was sad. I mean, I didn't watch Glee, but I understand that a lot of people were like, "Oh, that's terrible." And it is terrible. It is terrible. Born in 1982, he on this day he died in 2013. Not on this day. It would have been his birthday. Born on this day in 1983. If not for Jamarcus Russell and maybe Ryan Leaf, this could be one of the biggest quarterback busts of all time in the NFL draft. Matt Leinart out of USC. Oh, he can't miss. Matt Leinart's going to be the new Tom Brady. Why? Because he's handsome. Because that's really the only thing he had in common with Tom Brady was that he was a handsome quarterback. And yeah, he never really amounted to much. Born on this day in 1983, Matt Leinart. I don't know what he's doing now. What do you think Matt Leinart does now? Like Matt Leinart is enough of a name. Like he's enough of a name just for being a bust that if he wanted to, he could probably make $1 million a year. He could make $1 million a year. He could be doing like sports somewhere, or he could be, I don't know. What does he do? Is he on ESPN or something? Maybe. He's handsome. He could probably do that. And he probably made what? Like, I don't know, a couple million playing football before they realized, hey, you can't play football. So he's probably doing okay. So no tears for legendary NFL bust Matt Leinart. Born on this day in 1988, Black China. I don't know who she is. Didn't she do something with Rob Kardashian? And there, when she just wasn't like that the opening act for the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial? Wasn't there like a Rob Kardashian Black China trial that nobody paid attention to because we were all excited? It's like when any opening act comes, you're still in the parking lot drinking, or you're going to the bathroom, or you're talking to friends, and you're not really paying attention to the open. I don't remember what happened with the Black China Rob Kardashian trial, but it was a thing, and she's a thing, and it's her. I don't mean she's a thing as in like, to be dismissive of her. I just mean she's famous. I don't know who she is. I don't know what she does. Instagram, hip hop, maybe. I don't know. Does she just date famous people? I don't know. I actually had to click on her picture. Not my type. I mean, I guess some people think she's attractive. I don't know. Happy birthday, Black China. I don't know who you are. Born on this day in 1989. Someone who I do know who he is. Born on this day. Happy birthday, Cam Newton, American football player. Snazzy dresser. I'll say that about him. Former NFL MVP. Injuries just completely derailed old Cam Newton, but all right. Yeah. Cam Newton, good for you. People who died. These are the people who died. These are the people who died today. Dead on this day. Here's a big one. This is a guy who I really like. And there's a documentary. There's like a 5-hour documentary on his life that is fascinating. Just fascinating. Dead on this day, Bob Marley, Jamaican singer, songwriter, and guitarist, an icon, a stoner icon for sure, but also an icon. I mean, an icon in music in general, an icon in Jamaica or Bahamas. I don't know, one of those places, wherever he's from, Kingston, Jamaica. He's from Jamaica. He's like an icon there. And the documentary is fascinating because there was a point I don't know. Like there was some political problems with him. Like he was saying stuff to the people of Kingston, Jamaica that like the government didn't want. So then there was like a hit put on him, and Bob Marley got like shot like a whole bunch of times, like in the chest and stuff. And then he played a concert that night. I'm not kidding you. He was like up on stage bleeding. He's all patched up. He's like, no woman, no cry. It was amazing. And that like sort of solidified this idea that Bob Marley is not human. Bob Marley is a god. And then he died. I believe the official death is cancer, but people are like, nah, he was poisoned. He was way too popular in Jamaica, and they were afraid that he was going to be president of Jamaica. They were afraid that he was going to like raid an uprising of the working folk. I don't know, whatever. Fascinating guy. Fascinating stuff. Noel Redding died on this day in 2003. What is Noel Redding? Noel Redding was Jimi Hendrix bass player. So basically, you know, when you see Jimi Hendrix, the skinny red-haired guy behind him is Noel Redding. Very, very highly regarded musician, Noel Redding. Died on this day in 2003. Died on this day in 2011, Robert Tractor Traylor. Remember him? Big-ass basketball player, Tractor Traylor. He died. He died on this day in 2011. He was young. He was only, let's see, 20, 30, 34 years old. He died at 34. Here's a sad one. Dead on this day in 2019. This is no fun. This lady shouldn't have died this young. Peggy Lipton. Do you guys know who Peggy Lipton is? You fans of the Mod Squad? She was a star of the Mod Squad. That's kind of where she first became famous. But then Twin Peaks. I don't know if you watched Twin Peaks. She was the hot waitress. Well, every girl on Twin Peaks was hot, but she was like the hot MILF waitress. She was like, oh, you know who she is? Here you go. Peggy Lipton is probably most famous in let's see, moving forward. Here, this is who she is. Here you go. She's most famous for who her daughter is. Yeah, her daughter isn't named Lipton, so you may not know. Boom! Look at that. Yeah, Peggy Lipton is Rashida Jones's mom. Rashida Jones. You know, Karen. Wait, was she Karen in The Office or was she Karen in Parks and Recreation? I don't know. I love Rashida Jones. Peggy Lipton and Quincy Jones created a baby, and that baby is the lovely and talented and really funny Rashida Jones. There they are. All these pictures. Do they look alike? Kinda, you know. Kinda, I guess. I don't know. Okay, there's a good one. That's I'm trying to see if they look like. Yeah, they kind of look alike. All right. Peggy Lipton, dead on this day in 2019. Also dead on this day. Here's the big one. This one sucks. This one is no fun. This one, oh, I love this guy. Who didn't love Frank Costanza? Huh? Frank Costanza. Jerry Stiller. Jerry Stiller died on this day in 2020. Ben Stiller's dad. He and his wife, Annie Mara, who is Ben Stiller's mom. Stiller and Mara were like a 1950s and 60s comedy team, and they were very popular. They played clubs and all that. Back when you'd go to like comedy, I don't know, I guess you still do kind of, but back then it was like a thing where like you'd go to a comedy club and Stiller and Mara would come out, and then Tony Bennett would come out. You know, it was like a whole thing. It was the way they did things back then. A little different now. And then in the 70s, they were like on every game show ever. It was always like, Stiller and Mara, you know, whatever. And then, you know, later we realized that they had a kid, and that kid was Ben Stiller. And then Jerry had a second act where he became the, excuse me, I need something to drink. Telling you, we're starting crazy weather season here in Texas, where it's 100 degrees outside and it's 50 degrees inside because the air conditioning is just on all the time. Frank Costanza on Seinfeld. He became Jerry's dad. Oh, was that a funny character? God, was that a great character? And then even after that, didn't he basically do the same character on King of Queens? Didn't he play like Carrie's dad on King of Queens? He lived downstairs. Anyway, Jerry Stiller died on this day in 2020. What a guy. How old was he? Let's see. So 30, 70, 80, 90, 91 years old. And Jerry Stiller was 91 years old. Boy, all that's it. That's it. All the Seinfeld parents are dead now. All of them. Stell Harris, she died this year. She was Mrs. Costanza. She was George's mom. Jerry Stiller was George's dad. And then Jerry's mom just died like this year, like a few months back. And then Jerry's dad died recently. I don't know, maybe not. I think he did. He probably did. He'd probably be 100. Let's get into what's trending today. Let's talk about all the things that are happening in the world. Let's run it down so that you people aren't bumping in the walls, not knowing what people are talking about when they say, hey, did you hear about Casey White? Casey White is trending. Casey White is the surviving member of the Casey and Vicky White tag team, the two people that were on Lamb from, if you notice, my voice is going too, so I have to talk a little differently today. It's part of the reason for the coughing. And also why it might be a good idea for me to just not do a show tonight. Because, and by the way, if you heard last night's show, it was a mess. I mean, I guess it was all right, but it was a mess. I had been doing birthday stuff, all evening. Because around here, we celebrate birthdays 12 hours ahead of time. It's just a thing. So we also celebrate Christmas Eve in my family. Christmas is like, yeah, whatever. Christmas Eve is the big night. If you were listening last night, I was a mess. I was scatterbrained. Anyway, you can find all the past shows on pugscast.com. Casey White, the dangerous murder inmate who bolted from an Alabama prison with his jailer, has told detectives that the Lovebirds spent most of their time on the run, holed up in a cheap Indiana motel, and plotting where to go to next. Casey, who's 38, and prison guard Vicky White, 56. No relation. They just had the same last name. Although they were in love, if you ask Vicky. I don't know if Casey'd tell you the same thing, but they were captured on Monday night after a dramatic police chase in Evansville, Indiana, just a 5-hour drive from the Florence prison where they ran away from. 5 hours. That's like the whole, everybody's like, they're in Mexico by now. Nobody ever does. We always say that when people are on the run. They're in Mexico now. They're gone. They never are. They're always just like a couple miles away. They're always just like in the area, the relative area. I mean, 5 hours is, but still 5 hours after like 10 days on the run, they're 5 hours away. Okay, you can make the net a little smaller, I think, from now on. I mean, we've seen this with the last 3 big manhunts that we've had. Do you remember the Oxford, Michigan shooter? Remember his parents? Remember, his parents didn't show up for court, so there was like this manhunt, and the manhunt went on for 12 hours, and everybody's like, well, by everybody, I mean me included, we're like, well, they're so close to Canada. They're already in Canada. You can't just, they're gone. They are in the wind. Forget about it. Never going to find them. Where'd they find them? Like an hour away. They were an hour away in Detroit. They got caught. They're gone. Forget about it. Who are we? We're a bunch of people. We give up too easy. We're like, they're gone. Never going to find them. They were found like an hour away. Then Brian Laundrie. Remember Brian Laundrie, the Gabby Petito killer? That dude, it was like a manhunt for him for like a month. Oh, he's in Australia by now. He was like a couple blocks away. He was like in a swamp a couple of blocks away from where everybody was looking for him. People don't run. Casey and White, Vicky White, just the latest example. They're always close. The pair initially drove 100 miles north through Tennessee, where they dumped Vicky's rust-colored Ford Edge and then transferred into a black Ford pickup. Then they headed further north. The truck was spotted on May 3rd, 4 days after they escaped. It was abandoned at a car wash, which was 200 miles further away than that. So now they've gone, 200, 300, 400 miles. And then they stopped in Evansville, Indiana, and they just stayed there. They stayed at Evansville's Motel 41, which, by the way, if you're in the Evansville metro area and are looking for a nice affordable hotel, drive right past Motel 41, because the reviews for Motel 41 are not good. Everything from mystery stains to bugs to bed bugs, and that's where they were staying. Cops lay in wait for the pair to leave the motel on Monday, and when they eventually did, a chase began. Vicky White fatally shot herself as cops closed in, but Casey White surrendered without incident when their Cadillac crashed. While a coroner will have to confirm that Vicky died by suicide, she was found with a gun in her hand, and she was also on the phone to 911 mid-chase, saying that she had a gun to her head. I don't know if that's like, was Casey holding a gun? Let's see here. This dude's name is Dave Wedding. He's the sheriff there in Vandenberg County. He said, after 6 days It was just hard for me to believe that they were here in Evansville. I mean, I wouldn't think that somebody on the run would stay in a community like Evansville for 6 days. there's a ringing endorsement from the local sheriff. I mean, Evansville. Have you ever been to Evansville? Ugh, it ain't good. It ain't good. It is a microcosm of all the absolute worst towns in America just clumped together. Evansville basketball. You may know about Evansville basketball. Evansville, there's like a little college there, and I don't know, every like decade or so, they somehow make the NCAA tournament. And every time they make the tournament, it's like, oh my God, is this like the poorest universe? They wear T-shirts, or at least they did like years ago. Like the basketball team wears T-shirts, like just great T-shirts that say Evans. It's crazy. Let's see. Wedding went on to say, he said he was just trying to find, they're talking about Casey White. He was just trying to find a place to hide out and lay low. And they thought that they had driven long enough that they wanted to stop for a while, get their bearings straight, and then figure out what their next move would be. You drove 500 miles. What do you mean you driven long enough? You're on the run. Keep going. What? These people, I don't understand it. Wedding also said that the couple, they were trying to contemplate where they could go and be discreetly away from the public eye. I don't think 9 days after you escape is the time to be contemplating. This should be part of the initial plan. Where you're going to be heading to should be. She sold her house. She sold her $200,000 house for $90,000 in cash. Okay. So there was obviously some forethought put into this, right? You can't just sell a house in 10 minutes. Although if you're selling a $200,000 house for $90,000, maybe you can. I don't know. But have a plan, you idiots. Casey White will be extradited, back to Alabama under heavy security. And let's see here. In his interview with detectives, he didn't express any remorse or reveal why Vicky had shot herself. He also didn't appear to have brainwashed her into the plan. He was not forcing her. It was a mutual relationship, said Sheriff Wedding. All right, well, there you go. Well, we're done with these two knuckleheads. We don't have to deal with them anymore until the next prison guard that Casey White seduces and escapes. Boy, wouldn't that be a thing? Wouldn't that be like, suddenly that's his move, and it works. He gets a second just awful prison guard lady. Let's see here. What does Jeff say? Jeff says, I had a pet turtle that escaped and made better time than that. Credit on that one. Jeff also says that sounds like the Chippewa Motel in St. Louis. I bet they haven't cleaned the comforter or wall since I was there in 91. I'll give you another one for that. Jeff then goes on to say, maybe they didn't get too far because they spent too much time making that sweet, sweet love. Ugh, I don't know. Yeah, Jen, JBM is right. She says that now Casey White will start getting fan mail from lonely women. Yeah, because he does. He looks kind of like to me, there is a mugshot. Now, there's a bunch of different pictures of him. He changed his look and he shaved his head and did all this stuff. There's a mugshot out there where he looks like degenerate John Hamm. He looks, if John Hamm was a degenerate. So, I mean, maybe he's got a way of smooth talking the ladies into, doing what he wants them to. Because I'll tell you, old Vicky White certainly overturned her life for him. I don't get that. Roberts rule is trending. This is in relation to Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, John Roberts. There is a story circulating, and a number of people who are court watchers, court birds, if you will, they're saying that Roberts is probably okay. So the big thing with the Roe versus Wade thing, that was just an initial briefing. It's not sealed in stone, although we all kind of ran with it. They're overturning Roe versus Wade. There's a belief that court watchers, court birds, as I call them, court watchers believe Chief Justice John Roberts is against reversing Roe versus Wade. Roberts could persuade another conservative justice to join his narrow position on abortion rights. If he did, that position would become the Supreme Court's final ruling. Chief Justice John Roberts has infuriated conservatives before. He's voted to uphold Obamacare. He has voted to protect LGBTQ employees from discrimination. He struck down a Louisiana abortion restriction and has safeguarded the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals policy for children unauthorized to live in the U.S. Some of the many actions that have earned him a reputation for being an unreliable ally to the conservative legal movement. Or, and bear with me on this one, maybe he's just a judge. Maybe he's not a partisan hack. Maybe the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court is in some way an actual judge. Maybe. Now, anti-abortion advocates are eagerly waiting for the Supreme Court 6-3 majority to deliver them a monumental victory they've been waiting for decades to overturn Roe versus Wade. But Roberts could throw a wrench in their plans. Court watchers widely believe that the Chief Justice, who has long sought to defend the Supreme Court from perceptions of partisanship, is opposed to a complete reversal of Roe, the landmark ruling that legalized abortion nationwide. All right, I don't need to go into any more than nitty-gritty on that. You get the basic idea of why that's trending. Katie Porter is trending. Katie Porter, the congresswoman from California. Let me just tell you something about Katie Porter. I love her. I just love this woman. I just think that this lady, I just wish all she does is fight for regular people. That's it. She doesn't like get all bent into the politics of shit. You know, she just always, Katie Porter, I think that when we look at her legislative history 50 years from now, we'll go, that lady from Orange County, she was always on the right side of history. She always had like the people in mind. She gave a speech the other day, and I won't play it for her, but you can find it. She gave a speech to all of the idiots on both sides of the aisle about the price of groceries. That was just... Thank you, Katie. You got these idiots arguing over stupid shit. Meanwhile, you got Katie going, hey, can we all just focus in on maybe groceries and gas and stuff like that? The kind of shit that's really affecting the bulk of the American people. Can we just focus on that? Inflation's biting, Roe's fraying. Dems are still trying to connect with voters, and it seems that only Katie Porter knows how to do this. Only after Rep. Katie Porter put bacon in her cart at the local grocery store recently did she notice that its price had spiked to $10 a pound. That's California. That's that fancy California bacon. It was a dose of reality that Porter, a California congresswoman and single mother of 3, has long understood. But she's not... my voice is going. I'm sorry. I apologize. Anyway, if you want to find the speech that she gave, go ahead, check it out. She's a baller. I like her. She's cool. She's not all political. And that's what we need. We need more regular people who are going to be like, oh, shut up. Nobody cares about your future in the midterms. Let's do the job that we were elected to do. We're here now. Let's just do it. Let's stop it. Stop taking positions that you think will affect your vote total 2 years from now or whatever. Nike is trending. Nike is trending because apparently Nike is going to war with some shoe website. Sneakerheads. This is a big thing. It's not for me. I'm not that guy. But sneakerheads are like way into... Hold on, I'm going to sneeze now. Oh, my goodness. Excuse me. Oh, wait a second. This is interesting. All right, so Nike is suing a sneaker website that sells shoes, and Nike is suing them because they claim that they're selling bootleg Nikes, like they're like, I don't know, like Eastern European made Nikes that aren't real Nikes. So Nike's suing them. I just got a thing. I don't know what this means, but it's interesting. I don't know. Let's see here. Anonymous. This comes from Ed, the podfather himself, the ruler supreme of radiomisfits.com. He just sent me a little breaking tweet here. Ooh, how exciting. Tonight, this comes from Anonymous. Anonymous. Anonymous? Those guys? They get good stuff every now and again. Anonymous just sent out a simple tweet that says announcement today at 5 p.m. Ooh, I wonder what that could be. Maybe nothing. Maybe something big. I don't know. What is that? 5 p.m. what? I don't know. You're anonymous. What time zone are you in? Is that 4? Is that what time is 5 o'clock? It just says 5 p.m. You know what? Somebody, obviously, it's just a bunch of idiots running anonymous because they didn't realize that this was going to go out to people in all different time zones. Let's see what some people are saying about it. I don't know. Could be about anything. I don't know. All right. So there you go. There's a little breaking news on the anonymous front if you're into that sort of thing. This was fun. Did you see this? This was trending last night and it was still hanging on there on the Google trends today. So I wanted to bring this back because this irritated the hell out of me. And it was trending number 1 for most of the late evening last night. Gen X, of which I would say that I am a proud member of Generation X, as is some of you people out here in the stream. I think that we're all pretty much around the same age group for the most part. Gen X was trending. You know why Gen X was trending? Yeah, it's so funny. Gen X was trending for like the most Gen X reason ever. Old stupid face David Gergen, who I hate. I hate David Gergen. He's not a news guy, but he's a former like White House insider. He worked for Nixon, then he worked for Ford, and then I don't know, he worked for a whole bunch of people. Now he shows up on CNN as like this elder statesman of how the White House works, which has been completely ruined with like the last. He didn't know anything about how the last 6 years of the White House works. He's missed on everything. He's a fool. He's an old fool. So he's got a book out now, right? So he was promoting his new book last night. And it's a book about how boomers need to take a step back. Boomers need to hand the mantle of power and influence to the next generation. And he was promoting an appearance on, I guess, Anderson Cooper last night. Yeah. Where they would be discussing the handing of the torch from the boomer generation to the next generation. Here's what he tweeted. Here's what this idiot tweeted. Baby boomers have been running the country for nearly 3 decades. Some successes, a number of disappointments. It's time to pass the baton to younger generations, millennials and Gen Z. Please join us for a conversation tonight on CNN with Anderson Cooper about my new book. Hey, boomer, but so what? Once the most Gen X reason ever. Once again, Gen X, boomers are handing power now to millennials and Gen Z. Meanwhile, Gen X is just sitting here with our frozen TV dinner because mom had to work late. You know, the latchkey generation. We're just sitting here going, yeah, okay, whatever, you guys, whatever. Just you ignoring us again. You're just totally ignoring our generation again. And by the way, here's what I even tweeted this. This is what infuriated me about it. Baby boomers have been ruining. I guess ruining is appropriate. Baby boomers have been running the country for nearly 3 decades. Some successes, a number of disappointments. It's time to pass the baton to younger generations, millennials and Gen Z. Please join us for a conversation tonight on CNN with Anderson Cooper. Who is a Gen Xer? You're going on a Gen Xer show to promote your crackpot theory. Anyway, the thread, if you have time, just go read the hashtag Gen X thread. It's hysterical. It's hysterical because it's like if, oh, God forbid, if millennials had been passed over again, the outrage would be nuts. The Gen X thread is just filled with Gen Xers going, typical. Like there's no real outrage. It's like, yeah, this is, go ahead. Whatever. Don't mind us. We've just been standing in line behind our boomer parents now for 30 years because they refused to retire. And now what? Now you're just going to hand it to our kids like we're the generation that doesn't even freaking exist? It's hysterical. That's why Gen X was trending. Honestly, Just go on Twitter, hashtag Gen X, and read the threads. Just read some. Look, I'll tell you something. A lifetime of being ignored, benched, sidelined, passed over, completely ignored, whatever it has made Gen X the funniest generation. That it is really funny. It is some of the things, some of the hot takes that Gen X has about being passed over is just so wonderfully Gen X, so wonderfully Generation X. Just like the apathy is just like, yeah, this checks out. Yeah, this is exactly how I would expect it to go. We're going to be meanwhile, you do this to Gen Zs, you do this to millennials, and they would be in tears, all up in their feelings. You forget about it. It's like, oh God, we are the hardcore generation. Gen X is the hardcore generation. You can't hurt us. You can't hurt us. We were raised alone. We were raised by divorced parents. We're the first generation to go through divorced parents. We didn't have nannies. We had keys that were attached to our belt loops because after school we would go to an empty house and eat Pop-Tarts and drink 8 packs of soda pop. I mean, and then watch Club MTV for like 3 hours. That's who we were. We didn't care. We don't need you. We are the alone generation. And then mom would call and she'd say, or dad would call, or whatever the case would be. They'd call and they'd be like, okay, I'm going out after work with some friends. Are you okay? Yeah, I'll just reheat some macaroni and cheese for dinner in the microwave. Because also the microwave came around with us. And that just gave us even more freedom. Whereas now my kid can't make toast. My little Gen Z kid can't make toast. He doesn't know how to cook anything. Oh my God, it was so funny. He tried to make ramen noodles in the microwave. I'm surprised he took it out of the package. I'm surprised he didn't just throw the packaged ramen noodles in the microwave, hit a couple of numbers, and walk away. Because that's about the level of his competence when it comes to cooking. When I was his age, I was making spaghetti sauce and chili. Why? Because there's nobody around. And I got to eat something. So I pull shit out of the freezer and I just start cooking. Let's try this. Is this how you make an omelet? I make a mean omelet. And I learned to do that at like 8 years old. Now, I am not saying that our parents were absent or that our parents weren't loving or anything like that. They were wonderful. And you know what? They gave us the space to become competent at things. They gave us the space to find ourselves, to realize who we are, not these little victims, these little millennial victims who everything is an affront to their whole, oh, I can't believe, this Jesus. You can't hurt a Gen Xer's feelings. You just can't. You can't hurt us. We have been scarred since early childhood. We grew up taking road trips with people, with grown-ups who were chain smoking. No seatbelts, windows rolled up, cigarette smoke everywhere. Speed limits were just a suggestion. Drunk driving was a thing for our generation. Nobody started paying attention to drunk driving until the 90s when Johnny Carson started getting popped for it. Before then, it was just like, how drunk are you? I don't know. I'm pretty good, but I can make it home. All right. Be safe. We were the crazy. Toys were all dead. We had lawn jarts. We were fire tested is my point. We're not worried about anything. Let's see here. Adam Reyna says, you whining. Oh, God, Adam Reyna's going to do. Adam Reyna doesn't seem to understand that this is a show and that there's entertainment value here. But okay, that's fine. Byron says, I did that with my kid and she hates me now. Well, maybe you did some other things, Byron. I don't know what you did. Maybe it wasn't specifically the things I just listed. Maybe there were a few other things on the list that you did. But I'm sorry to hear that. That's no fun. Brady says, put him in Boy Scouts. He'll learn a lot of that stuff. Yeah, Boy Scouts. It was my generation. It was the generation of the X that sort of resisted the Boy Scouts. We're the ones that went, hey, that dude's touching me. Yeah, all that stuff started to come out with us. Catholic Church, Boy Scouts, because we were there. Hey, nobody's here to listen to me, but I'm getting diddled. Al says, I laid across the back window in my parents' Ford Maverick. Yeah, we did, because those cars were massive, rolling down the highway at 70 miles an hour, the back shelf just climbing back there and sleeping. No seat belts, no nothing. Adam says, our parents weren't the best. We have mostly learned. No, Adam, your parents weren't the best. That sounds like my parent was the best. I don't know about you and your personal situation, but for the most part, I think Gen X kids grew up pretty damn well without all of the helicoptering, without all of the safety protocols. Sure, we lost some of the weak ones along the way, but the rest of us survived. We were fire tested. COVID burnout is trending. This is the thing. Here's the thing. COVID burnout. God, this is something that I am suffering from COVID burnout. I don't know about you people. I did everything. I did everything you needed me to do. I took my shots. I wore my masks. I stayed in for 2 years. I did everything. I did all the things that the people who were smart told me to do. Less than 1/3 of Americans say that they are somewhat worried or, quote, very worried that they will get COVID-19 despite an uptick in cases across the U.S. This is according to a new poll. A Gallup poll released on Wednesday found that 31% of Americans are, quote, somewhat worried or very worried about catching the virus, which Gallup notes is the lowest sentiment noted among respondents since last July. The current worry level of respondents is also similar to how Americans responded in February, which was 34%, who said that they were somewhat worried or very worried about COVID. The poll found that respondents are continuing to relax their COVID-19 pandemic behavior. Just half of respondents said that they wore a face mask in the last 7 days. That's compared to 68% in February. Yeah, I know. Back in February, I was still wearing masks. Nah, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. I still see people doing it, and that's fine. My kid, picking up my kid from school, all the kids still have their masks in classes, and okay, I'm not entirely sure. Look, I am on this, I guess, on the subject of COVID. I'm a progressive guy. Like I was very much believing doctors, which I think is a good rule of thumb. And I'm going to continue to believe people who are educated in specific areas, as opposed to me, a guy on YouTube who doesn't know dick about hard stuff like that. Okay. So I'm just going to listen to guys in white coats. I'm going to continue to do that. And I'm going to stop deluding myself into thinking that some average Joe who's just slightly articulate and eloquent and persuasive is somehow more informed than the nation's foremost expert on diseases. Okay. I'm going with those people. I'm going with the real people who know what they're talking about, not some guy who's trying to get clicks. But anyway, I don't wear masks anymore. I don't do it. I'm not sure I want to get another shot. I got so sick on my booster. I'm like, I did it. I did everything you wanted me to do. At this point, take me. And by the way, I know shit tons of people. Everybody that I know. Look, I know 2 people who died from COVID. Okay. I know 2 people who died. Both of those people had other things wrong with them. Big things wrong with them. They were compromised. Their immune systems were not good. I know 100 people who had COVID who say, yeah, it was the worst week of my life, but it went away and I got better and I'm fine now. And so, I mean, in the beginning of COVID, it was like, you're gonna die. You know what it is perspective, taking a 30,000 foot look at this thing. It's just like AIDS. It's just like AIDS. When I was 12 years old and AIDS first came about, it was going to wipe everyone off the planet. It was like, you get AIDS, you're going to die. Meanwhile, Magic Johnson's had it for, well, I know he's got HIV, not AIDS, but still, he's been infected for like 40 years now, and he's still dunking basketballs at 65 years old or whatever the hell he is. So we tend to get crazy about this stuff. And I got to be honest with you, Matt, just wear your masks. I was one of these dudes. Just wear your mask, stupid. Stupid. Why you don't know? Wear your stupid mask. Let's all pull together and let's try and get through this. Okay. And it was fine for the first year. That was fine for the first year and a half. But now we're looking at an endemic stage of this virus. Okay. It's no longer a pandemic. It's not spreading. It's here. It's here. It's in every corner of the universe. The earth anyway. It's here. It's here. It's going to flare up from time to time. People who are sick are going to get sick. People who are vulnerable are going to get vulnerable. The rest of us, my friend, well, I'll tell you right there. He just called in, Dr. Schwartz. He's had it twice. he has this really funny rant about all of the variants and how he thinks the Omicron variant is the piece de resistance of the COVID, and he talks about how it's so rare where you find a sequel that is so much better than the original. But the original virus was, it was bad. It made him sick. But the Omicron was just beautiful. It was just hours of nonstop vomiting and just, begging the Lord to take his life because it was so. I'm done with it. He's fine. He's absolutely fine. He got sick. I have not been sick. I have not been flu sick, like where it's fever and chills and oh God, I feel like garbage. I haven't been sick like that in 5 years. I've been fine until I got the booster. And then I got the booster and I was sicker than I have. I'm like, what is the point of this? What I thought I was. So look, I can understand how here we are entering year 3, 2 full years of this COVID thing, how the relatively healthy among us who have been good little students, who have been doing all the things, I can understand why there's some sense of burnout among us. Like, okay, enough. And I'm still seeing these, like, I call them COVID fetishists. They're like, ugh. My kid and I, we were hanging out on SMU's campus. Was it Monday night? Yeah, Monday afternoon. We were just walking around. We went to a little place over there we like to eat. And there was just a dude, like a college student, just walking by himself. You would think a smart kid, SMU's a smart school, just walking on the campus all by himself outside wearing a mask. Now, my kid said, "What? Look at that. Look at that." And I go, yeah. And my first reaction was, he might be, maybe he's immunocompromised or something like that. Maybe he's and then my kid said, "I don't know. I think he just likes the mask." And I go, you know what? You might be right. You still see people. He's alone on a beautiful college campus, just walking. There is no one near him. And he's got the mask. I'm like, what the hell? You better be immunocompromised. You better have some issue because otherwise that's a weird thing, man. There are people out there who don't want it to be over. There are people out there who don't want to get back to. I think it's the moral superiority that they gained from being the guy who said, you need to take this seriously. I was that guy. A lot of you idiots out there did some really idiotic things for a long time. So it was easy to be morally superior. But come on, enough. Enough is enough, right? I mean, stadiums are back open, concerts are happening again, movie theaters are back open. We've got to live with this. It's in the endemic stage. If you are vulnerable, then yeah, it's a bad thing and you need to take extra precautions. But as far as only 31% of Americans polled recently saying that, yeah, I'm worried about COVID, that makes sense. That makes total sense. Take us. If this is never going to end, if this is the onset of some new Black Plague type thing, just get it over with, God. Take us, because this drip, 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 drip nonsense is killing me. It's killing us all. I want to go out. I want to be a human being again. Speaking of all of that, Patti LuPone is trending. Do you know who Patti LuPone is? Patti LuPone is an actress. Very, very highly regarded Broadway actress. She's like a singer and dancer and all that stuff. But for you and me, for us normal people, Patti LuPone is best known for being Corky's mom on Life Goes On. Remember Life Goes On? Oh, bloody. Oh, blah, blah. Remember Corky? He was the Down syndrome kid. It was on Sunday nights. I don't know. It was a pretty big hit. Well, Patti LuPone is probably most famous to all of us for being Corky's mom. Well, Patti LuPone is like one of these people who just don't want to give up the moral high ground. She just wants to keep yelling at people. So Patti LuPone was on Broadway, and apparently she noticed somebody. It's May of 2022. She noticed somebody in the crowd at her Broadway show wearing the mask incorrectly. So this woman couldn't just be a professional. She couldn't just do her damn job. You know how expensive Broadway tickets are? Although I would argue that if I paid like $200 for a Broadway ticket and Patti LuPone stopped the show and had a meltdown on stage, I'd say money well spent. I'd be like, I was there for that. It's like when the tiger ate Roy at Siegfried and Roy. People asked for their money back after that. They're like, that is not the show I paid for. No, but you got a way different show. You got like first of all, you got the last show, and you also got like the show that every other Siegfried and Roy show was building up to. I mean, the whole reason you go to see Siegfried and Roy is because people shouldn't be able to hang out with tigers like that and not get eaten. There were thousands of shows where they didn't get eaten. You were at the one where they did. You're asking for your money back? You should be paying more. You should be walking out, going to the box office. I'm paying extra for that. That was incredible. That was well above and beyond. So I go to see Patti LuPone on Broadway, and I'm paying a premium ticket. And she stops the show. And she starts, here's what she did. I'll play it for you. This is so ridiculous. All right, listen to this. This is what Patti LuPone had to say. During her show, she stopped her show. She noticed a guy whose mask had slipped down under his nose, and she did this.
Put your mask over your nose. That's why you're in the theater. That is the rule. If you don't want to follow the rule, get the fuck out!
Woo! Woo! Let me take my mask off too. Woo!
If you do not respect the people that are sitting around you.
Salary.
You pay your salary. Chris Harper pays my salary. Who do you think you are? Just put your mask over your nose. We have worked really hard.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, she's not one of these people taking over a Target and screaming at people about masks. She's in a Broadway theater show. She's wearing a mask. It just slipped out. She's just simply not wearing it so it's not just, what if somebody wasn't wearing a mask? What would have happened then? I mean, I see people all the time. When I see people wearing a mask incorrectly, you know what I do? I go, let's not fight that bad. He's trying. He's trying. Okay. It's not like he's like, I believe in liberty and I am not, this is America and you can't make me not wear, whatever those people are nuts. But at least this person is in the theater wearing a mask. Okay. It's not right. All right. It's hard to breathe. Sometimes, look, when I used to wear the mask in the grocery stores, sometimes because I wear glasses. So I'd be looking at prices and my glasses fog up because of the mask. And it's like, I'd have to pull the mask down, let the glass. I'm telling you, if somebody had confronted me in that moment when I didn't have the mask on properly, was this woman wearing glasses? Because I got to tell you, if she was wearing glasses, then it's totally fine. I get it. I understand it. But Patti LuPone, I've been talking, I've said this is kind of sort of a running theme since we started talking about the Amber Heard trial. My belief that actresses are just so unbelievably unbearable. If you've ever known an actress in your real life, not like, we all know actresses, we all see them in movies and stuff. But if you've ever had to hang out with somebody who is a professional actress, and actors are bad too, but actresses, they're so unbearable. Do you guys watch Barry? The show Barry on HBO? I've started rewatching Barry because the new season 3 of Barry is out. And I started watching season 3, episode 1. And I'm like, I need to just re-binge the whole series. I don't know where we are in this thing. I don't remember this. Years go by before seasons. So I started rewatching and I'm on episode 5 now of season 1. Great show. Incredible show. But the girl who plays the actress, Barry stars Bill Hader. He's a professional assassin who decides that he doesn't want to be an assassin anymore, that he gets bit by the acting bug. So he starts taking like theater classes in Los Angeles. Henry Winkler is his acting teacher. And so it's very funny. So he's his friends. So when he's not murdering people, when he's not assassinating drug cartel leaders and stuff, he's hanging out with all of these wannabe low-level, struggling young actors in Hollywood. And he's got a girlfriend who's an actress. This girl is the epitome. The way she's portrayed as an actress, it's everything that I've been describing about how awful actresses are. Self-centered, narcissistic, phony. Everything is an excuse to have an emotional breakdown because she's trying to fill the empty husk of humanity that is her with some kind of, something to draw on for future roles. So, she drops her ice cream cone and it's like, oh, God. Are you really upset by that? Well, no, but I might be able to draw on this later in life. It is the best portrayal of an actress that you've ever seen. Anyway, Patti LuPone is also an actress. And what we are seeing, listen to how over the top she gets. We'll play this one more time. Listen to how over the top she gets because she starts building her performance. It's crazy. Here we go.
Put your mask over your nose.
Put your mask over your nose. That's why you're in the
That is
theater.
the rule. If you
That
don't
is
want
the
to
rule.
follow the rule, get the fuck out!
You acting.
You are, and you do not respect the people that are sitting around you.
Salary.
You pay my salary. Bullshit. Chris Harper pays my salary. Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are, lady? Shut up, you stupid actor, lady. You can't possibly be that upset by someone's mask slipping to actresses. Ah, well, what are you going to do? She was good as Corky's mom. Obla da, life goes on. Byron says, I work in concerts. Shows that are going around with mask mandates have such low ticket sales that they have dropped the rule, but still make building staff comply. Power Trip S. The HBO show Barry employs your theory. Did I go into my Barry rant before or after you said that, Jeff? Because yeah, it does. It absolutely does. That girl in Barry is so good. She is so awesome at portraying what a real actress is like. Just an awful, empty narcissist. Comes across as really sweet all the time, but ultimately it's all about her all the time. All the time. It's really good. You should watch Barry. I don't know if you watch Barry, but if you don't, you should. Oh, God, here's another one. Bill Gates is trending because Bill Gates has COVID. There you go. Look, it's not gone. People are still getting it, but, we haven't had a perfectly healthy celebrity die from COVID in years. All right, check that. I might be wrong. Yeah, Adam Reyna, feel free. Adam Reyna will be like, well, actually, just yesterday. And then I'll argue with Adam Reyna about whether that person's actually a celebrity. But Kelly Ripa currently has COVID. Stephen Colbert currently has COVID. Bill Gates now has COVID. Vice President Camilla had COVID. The Queen of England had COVID. The Queen of England is like 1,000,000 years old, and she had COVID like a couple months ago. I mean, I don't know if it killed her. Anything could kill. Well, that's a bad example because she could drop dead at any minute of something because, she's like 1,000,000,000 years old. Boost Mobile, let's get off the COVID stuff. COVID cases are on the rise, however. It's because it's summer. Because, people are getting back out there. Boost Mobile is trending. This is interesting. Why is Boost Mobile? Now, what is Boost Mobile? Is Boost Mobile like poor people phones? You know what I mean? Like there's some phones that Boost Mobile will let you pay your phone bill by watching ads and playing games. Oh, isn't this interesting? How does this work? Boost Mobile is debuting a new way to pay your phone bill by gamifying your attention, saving you a few pennies with every ad that you watch. Boost Mobile customers now have a new option for saving on their phone bill. They can trim it down or they can pay it entirely just by watching ads and playing games. Customers can use the carrier's new Boost One app to watch ads, play simple games, and engage with Boost partners to earn the coins that will shave cents off their bill one bit at a time. It could become a welcome way to save money, especially given how pricey the best unlimited data plans can be. A Boost executive said the ads for in-game rewards on Fortnite and Candy Crush inspired the carrier's new payment model. It's time to move beyond the old ways and to embrace proven digital models popular in other industries. Customers will need to spend time to save cash. One of the carrier's so-called Boost coins knocks a single cent off their bill. Wait, One of the carriers, so-called Boost Coins, knocks a single cent off their bill. And in a video demonstration, watching a several second ad awarded the watcher 2 Boost Coins. There's also a spin to win wheel that gets players between 5 and 500 coins. Okay, whatever. Boost didn't provide other examples for how long it will take to pay off your phone bill, but given those low payouts, it might take a while. I actually had not this particular idea, but a while ago I was talking with somebody and I was saying, phones, this was about phones. Phones are like $500 each. It's like, why are phones so expensive? They should give you the phones for free. They should give you, I mean, I know you can upgrade and there's a lot of, switch now and we'll give you that. That's fine. But what about people who have been with the same carrier? The phone should be free because you're paying monthly. If you don't have a phone, you don't need the service. So give us the phone, or at least, drop the price a little bit. And then I said, because of what we use our phones for, this is a very workable model. You can provide free phone service to people if throughout their use of your phone service, they are being exposed to marketing and advertising and all that, because the phone carrier charges for that. The phone carrier can make money off that. There are ways. My point is, now that everybody has a phone, there's no reason for phone bills to be this expensive. Oh, you're crazy, Pugs. Yeah, I know. Just like you probably think it was a crazy idea that one day nobody would have a hardline phone anymore. Nobody has hardline phones anymore. The hardline phone in the house will never go away. Yeah, well, then they invented something different. Cell phones are not just cell phones. They're not. They are palm-held ultimate entertainment devices. You'll watch TV, you text with friends. What if every time you sent a text, you had to watch a commercial, but your bill was free? I don't know. Let's investigate. There are ways to do this. The simply paying a monthly phone bill, that's an old school business model based on the idea that all you were going to be doing was calling people. We do other things. There are other ways. There are unique ways now for phone carriers and companies to be able to make money off of us if they really, and I bet you they could make more money off of us if they really, because they'll charge the advertising. Just like we watch TV for free. Do you think that there's no money being made in network television? No, we stop and have to sit through commercials. That's how network TV is free. That's why we don't have to pay $10 a month to see the Tonight Show, because there are commercials. The company, the network, makes the money up. Phones should be thinking in that way. And it looks like Boost Mobile is. So good for Boost Mobile. Let's see here. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, Selma Blair is trending. Do you guys remember Selma Blair? What was she in? She was in that. I love Selma Blair. Selma Blair was such a fun actress. I say was, because she's almost entirely retired from acting because she has MS, which you see her now. She used to walk with a cane. A beautiful young woman. I think she's like 40 now or something, but she has to use a cane because she has MS. And she wrote a book about, by the way, what was that movie? What was the movie that she was in? She was in some movie that was really big with Sarah Michelle Gellar, and it was like a sexy movie, improper. It was a play on a Shakespeare play. I don't know which one it was. Anyway, she also did a TV series with Molly Shannon back in the mid-90s that was an American reboot of a very successful Australian series. It was called Kath and Kim. It was about a mother and daughter, and it got destroyed by critics. They hated it. I think they hated it because it was really over the top, and it was 2009. But if it came out today and it was a Netflix show, everybody would be talking about it. It was very okay. So it was very derivative of the kind of show. Have you ever heard of a show called Ab Fab? Absolutely Fabulous. It was like it was an American sitcom on CBS that was very much like Absolutely Fabulous, and I just don't think Americans were ready for it. I just don't think that that kind of over-the-top grotesque comedy being done by Molly Shannon and Selma Blair was, but I loved it. I loved that show. It was called Kath and Kim. It was hysterical. It had a great cast. Who was in it? Who else was in it? Oh, Mikey Day. You know Mikey Day from Saturday Night Live? He was in it. I can't get three named guy. The dude who's in all the Christopher Guest movies. Yeah, I don't know, whatever. He was great in it. There's another guy. He was great in it. Who else was in it? The girl who played Bernadette on, Bernadette, Melissa Rauch, Bernadette from Big Bang Theory. She was one of the stars of it. It was a great show. It was a nice talent, funny people on that show. But Selma Blair is trending because she has a new book out about her life. And in it, she chronicles her battles with alcoholism. Now, this was all before her MS diagnosis, which she now doesn't drink at all. She's sober and all that kind of stuff. She was so talented. I just thought Selma Blair was so great. And then, boy, that's too bad. Apparently she started drinking nightly at the age of 7. Like she was like, the first time she got drunk, she was 7. And then she started drinking every night because she grew up in a Jewish home, a religious Jewish home. And she said that she described it as them having Manischewitz, which is a Jewish wine, Manischewitz on tap at her home. And she said that she would just fill up a cup at like 7, 8 years old and she would drink it all night long. And, whatever. Well, there's them Gen X parents I was telling y'all about. But she said that when she was very little, and the reason she started getting drunk is because she thought that the Manischewitz it was a religious wine, and she thought it was a conduit to becoming closer to God. And then as a small child, getting shit-faced, getting drunk at 8 years old, she thought that feeling, that warmth and that tipsiness and that fun, she thought that feeling she equated to a relationship with God. And that's why she started drinking really heavy when she was little, because nobody told her any different. Anyway, that's why Selma Blair is trending, because people are like, oh, it's so sad. Well, whatever. I don't know. Baby formula is trending today. Baby formula is, if you're a parent, you got a baby. Baby formula is, there's not a whole lot of baby formula out there. Apparently, what do you do? What do you do if there's no baby formula? I don't know. I mean, my kid used formula. And then he seemed to, after formula, he seemed to exist almost entirely on sweet potatoes. I just remember getting sweet potatoes again, huh? I hate sweet potatoes. They're disgusting. My kid as a baby ate so many sweet potatoes. This is not a joke. He ate so many sweet potatoes that his nose turned orange. Like literally his nose turned orange. And I was freaked out by it because I thought he was just going to have an orange nose now. Like that's it. He's going to be the 18-year-old weird kid in school with the orange nose. And then the doctor was like, no, he's eating too many sweet potatoes. That'll even out. He'll be fine. But it was scary, man. It was here. I got pictures. I'll show you. I will show you his orange nose. If you think I'm kidding, it's for real. It's legit. I don't know. Do I have any good pictures of his orange nose? Oh, see, is this even orange nose here? Nah. No, though, look at this guy. Look at him. Look at him. Yeah, see how his nose is orange? See how his face is white and then his nose is orange? Yeah, that's him. Look at him. He's 13. He's a teenager now. That's not the best orange nose picture, but all right. This is the part of the show where I just show you my kids' baby pictures. Look at them. Oh, my God. So anyway, yeah, he went from formula into just nothing but seemingly endless amounts of sweet potatoes. Emily Staley's 5-month-old daughter was born prematurely, meaning she has a sensitive stomach and needs special formula. But due to the shortage, Stanley has resorted to feeding her child whatever formula she can find. She says, I've driven about an hour away to find what I could that's not even what we're normally giving her. There's pretty much nothing on the shelves here in town. Russell Black, a Kentucky father of 2, said the shortage is so bad in his area that he doesn't even have the option of switching to a different brand. Black said his efforts to find formula were fruitless, even with Amazon. After 2 hours on the phone with a formula company, Black said that he gave up searching. He had placed orders with 5 different retailers, and all were canceled. Look, formula is, I assume, very convenient. But what did formula wasn't always around, right? I mean, what did babies in the 1890s eat? I mean, babies can eat other things, right? Well, they also had rickets and beriberi and scurvy back then. Well, okay, all right. Got to make do with what you can. I mean, we're not living Little House on the Prairie style here. He's just got to eat some. Potatoes. I don't know. Why are they saying? Many stores are limiting formula purchases, and she's only able to buy about 1 a week. Parents search frantically for homemade baby formula recipes. Why are we running out of formula? President Biden addressed inflation and supply chain concerns during a speech Tuesday, blaming the war in Ukraine. What, baby formula come from Eastern Europe? I don't understand how baby formula. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say here why there is a baby formula shortage. I don't know. Maybe some of you in the chat room might know. No idea, but baby formula is trending. Jeff says before formula, people used condensed milk and sugar. maybe dial back on the sugar. Maybe that's not something that's so great. Adam says formula was popular when I grew up, and then on the 90s, breastfeeding became popular with the notion it was better. Yeah, Adam, you've got babies. So are your babies still on formula? I think your kids might be a little past that. Hold on. Sorry, folks. Hold on. April is directing my attention to Ed. Did Ed say something? Oh, Ed says apparently the FDA closed the largest plant that produces baby formula and really didn't make it public, nor will they explain why they closed it. Okay. Adam says he was just at Sam's. They're out of baby formula at Sam's. That's a big thing. Yeah, being a parent of a baby is already a hairy proposition. I remember, this wasn't like a nationwide thing, but for some reason, I remember once I had to go to 3 different stores to buy diapers because they had no diapers that fit my kid. Like, stupid little aside and really anecdotal, but that was a problem I had once. I couldn't find diapers that fit my kid. I had to go to a Target off Lemon and like Northwest Highway is where I finally found them. Tom Thumb, nope. Kroger, nope. None of them. Tom Cruise is trending. Tom Cruise is trending because the lead singer of 21 Pilots says that he was going to be writing the new theme song for the new Top Gun Maverick movie, which I can't wait. Top Gun Maverick, can't wait for that. I know it'll probably suck. I don't care. I'm a Top Gun freak. I love Top Gun. And you know what else? My kid loves Top Gun. Oh, I was so worried. There are certain movies. There are certain movies that I'm so glad that I have a boy for, because I time these out perfectly. It's like I want to be sure that I expose my son to these excellent examples of what boyhood entertainment should be. And I made him watch Top Gun. I made him watch it like 3 years ago, and he loved it. And then we watched it like a couple of times. I have seen Top Gun in the past 5 years, probably more than any normal person should. And it's, you know what? I'm not even going to say I was going to qualify it with, and it's not even that great of a movie. No, it is. It is that great of a movie. Because you know what? Movies are subjective. Drama is subjective. That movie affects me in a way. Makes me proud to be an American. Makes me feel masculine. Makes me, well, okay, beach volleyball scene is a little bit questionable. And me and my kid always have a joke about that because he's, he knows about all the YouTube stories. This is like, look at them. It's like they're a bunch of gay guys now. And I'm like, they're not gay. And if they are, so what? No, I'm not saying that, Dad. It's fine if they're gay. No, but they're not. But they're not gay. They're just shirtless, buff dudes playing beach volleyball in jeans. That's all. That's kind of gay, Dad. Well, but what's wrong with gay? There's nothing wrong. There's nothing, Dad. Why are you suggesting there's something wrong with gay? I'm a Gen Z. We have absolutely no problem with that. And then we go back to watching the movie. Hurricane gun. Okay. When I said that we might do some things that could be perceived as divisive today, hurricane gun is one of them. Hurricane gun is trending. Oh, man. I don't know if I want to read the whole story because then we'll just be, really picking it over, but it's so funny. It is so funny. Okay, so I'll just say it. Hurricane gun is trending because apparently, according to a former assistant in Donald Trump's White House, Trump was obsessed with the idea of the Chinese having a hurricane gun that was firing hurricanes at America. It's funny. It's funny. It's not divisive. I don't know if it's true. I kind of believe that you might think it is. But it's funny. It's funny. Hurricane gun. He was apparently all right, now we're into it. Now I feel it needs context. Okay, so we're just going to go into the hurricane gun story. All right. Trump has a conspiracy theory about hurricanes that is almost too stupid for words, claims an ex-staffer. Well, come on. That seems a little bit needlessly provocative. Donald Trump was not joking when he asked aides whether China had a hurricane gun that it was using on America. Near the beginning of Donald Trump's time in office, the then president had a pressing question for his national security team and administration officials. Does China have the secret technology, a weapon, or whatever to create large man-made hurricanes and then launch them at the United States? And if so, would this constitute an act of war? Now, here's the problem with this story. It's a funny story. It's funny. It's funny. All right. We don't have to talk about why it's funny. If it's funny to you, it's funny to you. But this source is anonymous, which is bullshit. Really? Oh, you're going to say this about the former president? You're an aide and you're going to go not on record? You're not going to put your name to this? You're just going to throw this out there? You cowardly little bitch. Seriously? Put your name on this shit. If you're going to make these kind of statements, have the balls to be able to put your name by it and stand. Otherwise, it's just gossip. But it is funny. It is funny. Hurricane gun. I'm sorry. I could see him. I could totally see him thinking there's such a thing as a hurricane gun. I mean, they had one in Despicable Me, right? Isn't that? Boy. What else do we got here? Oh, this could be fun. This is a nice cleanser. This is a good nonpartisan cleanser. Boat brawl. Boat brawl is trending. Did you guys see this? It's just a video. It's a Lake George. I don't even know where Lake George is, but here, I'll show it to you. There was a big brawl on a lake. It's lake season, and I'm a lake rat. I'm lake trash. Let's see if we can show this. All right, so this is a big fight apparently that broke out at some place called Lake George. I don't know where Lake George is. You guys Google it if you need to know where it is. But bunch of people out there partying, drinking on a lake, and all hell broke loose, and everybody started fighting. All right, let's see if we can watch this. Here we go. Here's the lake brawl. If we can get it to play. All right, there we go. All right, first of all, look at that. That looks like your typical Party Cove type area. If you're familiar with Lake Louisville, that's basically what a Party Cove looks like. All the boats tie off together, and it's just a big party with strangers. Okay, a brawl broke out at a large boat. It's Florida. This is Florida. All right, let's see what's going on here. Okay, look at this right here. This isn't good. How did that start? Where did that guy come from? Let's see if we can see where that guy came from. All right, he's mad. Look, he kicked somebody and then he went in. What is going on? This got to be over a girl, right? Somebody talking to a girl. Dudes do not fight like this unless there's a girl involved. And maybe not even a girl here. Maybe this is just, hey, that's the dude that was talking to your girl at that, something like that. See what's happening. They're brawling. There were 5 arrests, according to the Volusia County Sheriff's Office. Oh, yeah. Got to bring the cops out. 1 man was seriously injured. You don't want to, there you go. That's it. Lake Brawl. That's why Lake Brawl. We've seen some stuff. This is this coming weekend, I believe, is going to be the opening for what will be a long summer of weekends up at Lake Louisville. My son is now 13. He's very excited. He is legally permitted by the state of Texas to operate a jet ski, or what do we call them, Sea-Doo? A Sea-Doo on his own. So he's going to get his little Sea-Doo training and all of that kind of stuff. So we're very excited. Uncle Emil has all kinds of new toys out there. He's itching to get out there. And this weekend it's going to be nice. And I'm thinking that maybe the lake temperature isn't going to be freezing. It'll still be cold. It's not, going to be like it is in July. Oh my God. By the time like mid-June comes around, Lake Louisville is like bathwater. Anyway, when we go out there for celebrations like our big 4th of July party, which I hope we replicate from last year. Last year was just a great 4th of July party. Ed, are you coming? Last year was just so much fun. We don't go we go over to where Party Cove is. Party Cove is essentially the domain of the under 30, let's say under 35 at most. I mean, I think you're probably sad if you're over 40 and you're still hanging out in Party Cove, because it's all like 20-something college kids, and it's crazy. And it's where, you're going to see the girls walking around with no tops on and all kinds of, skeevy behavior. But let the kids have their fun. That's fine. About, 300 yards on the other side of Party Cove is, what we like to call Fogey Cove. It's like where, all of the grown up, actually, it's not the Fogey Cove. It's not like the super old people, but we go off to another area where we all tie off, but there's kids, it's like a husband and wife with a couple of kids. And then, I'm not going to say it's kid friendly because boat people are just incorrigible. It doesn't matter if you're out there with your kids. You're still slamming beers in the lake and F that, that kind of thing. It's just that there's kids around and there's dogs. So we hang out over there. And every once in a while, like the boy will be like, Dad, let's go cruise Party Cove. I'll be like, you're going to see some stuff, kid. Are you ready? Are you ready to see? I'm counting on it. I'm like, all right, let's go. So then we'll like me and E will put his son on the back of his and I'll put mine on the back and we'll just, and we go through Party Cove and we just look at stuff. And I do the dad thing where I'm trying to teach him life lessons, where we're just like going through the wake zone and we're just meandering in between boats of like strippers and college kids and people just partying and going crazy. I'd be like, you see that right there? That's what we call an idiot. That guy's gonna die today. But the kid's gonna Dom, Emil's kid saw something. He saw something last 4th of July that you can never erase. He said he saw like a really old, well, actually Emil confirmed it because Emil saw it too. But apparently there was like this really old lady, which to Dominic was probably, I don't know, someone my age. But he said some old lady with big giant boobs was walking around naked on her boat. And Dom was like, no! It scarred him. You're going to see some things. So, don't be a fuddy-duddy parent if you're going to go cruise through Party Cove with your pubescent aged boys. Bear attack is trending. Did you hear about this? This is scary. I don't get this. United States Army soldier was killed in Anchorage, Alaska. He was out there in the woods. They were doing some kind of I don't know. What do you call it? Maneuvers. They were doing some kind of. Here, let me see if I can get to it. They were doing. Well, here, I'll just pull up the story. I don't know why I feel like I need to. There we go. Okay. Soldier killed in bear attack at Alaska Army base. Okay. This is not a fun story, but man. A U.S. Army soldier died Tuesday after being attacked by a bear. The soldier was based out of Alaska's Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson and was training near the Anchorage Regional Landfill when the bear attacked. The soldier's name has not been publicly released and is pending identification of next of kin. Alaska wildlife troopers were still searching for the bear involved in the attack as of Tuesday. Why? That's the thing that I don't get about this. Okay, a soldier is out in Alaska where bears are, and he gets killed by a bear. Now you're searching for the bear for what? To hold him accountable? To put the bear on trial? Why are you looking for? Are you unaware of what bears do when they come in contact? Well, this is an aggressive bear. All bears are aggressive. All bears, if you get around a human being, the bear is probably going to try and eat the human being. That's what bears do. Why are they searching for the bear? Does that seem like ridiculous? Well, this one has the taste of blood. All bears have the taste of blood. Bears are killing machines. That's what they are. They're gigantic. They're scary. They have Freddy Krueger claws for real. Like just giant butcher knives on their hands, and they weigh like 1,000 pounds, and they can bench press like a Buick. Seriously, why are you looking for the bear that killed the soldier? You should just be like, hey, there's bears out here. Because and how are you going to know? Hey, are you the bear that killed the soldier? I don't know. We just do dumb things. Just going through the motions because it seems like that's what we should do. It seems like we should go get that bear. Yeah, we should. Let's go. Let's mount up a posse and go catch that bear that killed that. It's a bear. It's what they do. A black bear is pictured near Joint Base Elmsdorf. A spokesman for the base did not immediately return a request for updates on the search for the bear. It is believed a grizzly or black. They don't even know. They don't even know what kind of bear. They're just going to go out. They're going to kill the first bear that they see. And they're like, we got one for one. Officials did not identify the bear. But both black bears and grizzly bears are found in and around this area of Anchorage. All right. I mean, it's tragic. That is tragic. That is terrible. A soldier was killed by a bear. But you're gonna try and. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. Let's get that bear. You don't even know if it's a black bear or a grizzly bear. And you're just going to go out and you're just going to kill a random bear. Cycle of violence. Then that bear's family is going to be like, oh, apparently now we got to go and get us another one of them soldier guys. This is crazy. Byron says they look for the bear wearing the soldier's dog tags. Of course. That's right. Adam says, oh, they went to catch it because it's a black bear. Yeah, that's right. It wouldn't be like, it's Alaska. What about the polar bears? There's probably not polar bears up there. Okay, so that's why bear attack is trending. Oh, what a terrible way to go. What, you know what I mean? Like, oh, God. Because it doesn't happen quick, you know? Maybe if you're lucky, you are knocked unconscious fairly early in the interaction with the bear. But, like, probably you're going to get, like, slashed up. Oh, man. Remember in The Revenant when Leonardo DiCaprio fought that bear? That is one of the roughest scenes I have ever seen in a movie. If you've ever seen The Revenant, Tom Hardy, Leonardo DiCaprio, and mountain men out there in the Wild West, there's a scene where Leonardo DiCaprio gets into a fight with a bear out in the woods. And it is, honestly, I remember the first time I saw it, and I remember thinking, this is one of the most incredible scenes I have ever seen filmed for a movie. Because I'm going to say it looked real. Was it real? Is that a real bear? Because that looks like a real bear, and it really looks like Leonardo DiCaprio is fighting a real bear. But that can't be. That can't be. And it wasn't just like a little bear. It was a big, giant grizzly bear that Leonardo DiCaprio had to fight in this movie. And this bear just kicked the shit out of him. Adam says, back when Tom Hardy had to be in every other movie by law. Yeah, well, I'm fine with that. I love Tom Hardy. JBM says, when I lived in North Carolina, there was a number of people that were attacked by a bear while they were in their sleeping bags. Bears must have thought they found giant burrito. Hey, I'll tell you, I had a bear experience. I've told this story before. I had a way too close to call experience with a bear. I was up in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. I was watching races, car races, and we stayed in a campground, a camp area near the racetrack, and we didn't have camping equipment or anything like that, and we were just college kids, so we weren't going to rent a cabin. We decided we were going to sleep in the car, and the car had T-tops, and it was a nice, late summer Wisconsin evening. So we had the T-tops open and we ate Kentucky Fried Chicken. I remember we had a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken and we were eating it in the car. And then there was like little parties going on and we were walking around the campground at night and all that stuff. And then it was time to go to bed. And so we went to sleep in the car, reclined the seats all the way back. It was again an older 1970s Buick Regal, if you remember those things, with T-tops, sweet ride, spoked rims, nice car. And we reclined the seats back, and I woke up, me and the guy that I was sleeping with, friend, my buddy, we were crashed out in the car. We woke up to the sound of it was being rained on. And I remember I'm like, oh God, this water's coming. Oh, we got to get the T-tops up. And I went and I looked at the T-tops and then I looked at what was happening. There was a bear. Now, not a big one, not a big bear, but like I don't know, maybe like a teenage bear. It wasn't like a giant grizzly or anything. It was a Wisconsin brown bear. He was on the hood of the car. So we wake up, I'm in the front seat, we wake up in the hood, and the water that I thought was rain was coming in were the park rangers with a fire hose, like a big fight. The bear had wandered into the camp and the rangers responded, and apparently they were ready for it. So, I mean, it wasn't any real thing, but this thing got on top of the hood of the car and the rangers pulled out the fire hose and they were like, and they're like blasting this bear. We had a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken in the back seat. That's what the bear was. We just dumbass 19-year-olds completely ignoring all of the signs. Please seal your food when done. Do not leave food in your car. All of these rules about, we're like, yeah, man, we're punk teenagers. We're just going to ignore the rules. You should have seen the hood of the car. Now, this was not a 800-pound bear. This was probably, I don't know, he's probably 250, 300 pounds. Scary. Would have absolutely destroyed us. Don't get me wrong. But even at that size, the hood of the car that the bear had climbed up before being completely blasted by the fire hose, there were scratch marks like from his claws that just like 2 inches deep. Well, not 2 inches, but you know what I'm saying? I don't like bears. That was way too close. That was the scariest. No, thank you. I don't need to be any closer to bears. I don't know how there are people. I have a friend, Frank. He lives in Wisconsin. Rob knows him. Is Rob in the chat room? I don't know. Rob knows Frank. He told me that he would go up to this place where he lives in Wisconsin. And sometimes you have to just wait because there's a bear in your driveway. It's like, why do you live there? Why do you live somewhere where you have to just sit idling at the end of your driveway, waiting for the natural killing machine to just move off your property? I don't understand that. So JBM, I'm with you. I don't need any kind of relationship with bears. Let's see here. What else do we have? Oh, this is good. Is this still trending? This was trending number 1, which makes me very happy because, we like to do the summer concerts. We do the Bonnaroo. We do every local, regional, big concert festival that's happening. We give you the rundowns. Today, trending number 1 is my favorite of all the summer concerts. And of course, I am talking about Riot Fest. Why am I talking about Riot Fest? Because Riot Fest is the coolest. Riot Fest is the coolest of all of the summer big outdoor concert series. If you have never, well, actually, oh no, I'm running out of free articles. Oh no. Riot Fest, I haven't been to in a long time, but I went to the first 2 Riot Fests. It's a Chicago thing. It's in Douglas Park in Chicago. And it's basically punk. It's basically for people who like punk or what else you want to say? really good alt rock. Let's just say that. Maybe alt rock that appeals to people my age. I don't know, but it's been going on for years. It's very cool. It is sort of the antidote for Lollapalooza, which is the really big one that happens in Chicago. And then the people who like don't want to deal with Lollapalooza, they're like, well, I'm just saving my money for Riot Fest. I'm going to go to Riot Fest. This year's Riot Fest lineup, and it's trending number 1 today, which is very cool. Riot Fest has announced their lineup for 2022. It says here, My Chemical Romance, The Misfits, the original lineup of The Misfits, and Nine Inch Nails. Oh, man, The Misfits and Nine Inch Nails? I don't know about My Chemical Romance, but The Misfits, I mean, I'm just unfamiliar. I might enjoy them. The Misfits and Nine Inch Nails in Douglas Park at Riot Fest, that's going to be awesome. My Chemical Romance, the original Misfits, and Nine Inch Nails are set to headline this year's Riot Fest. The 3-night event will take place in Chicago's Douglas Park from September 16th to the 18th. It will also feature first-time appearances by Yeah Yeah Yeahs. I like them. They're a Brooklyn band. They're like a Brooklyn hipster band, but I believe, aren't they the one with the, yeah, is she Asian? I don't know. The lead singers I kind of like. Bauhaus is going to be there. Bauhaus. Look at that. Portugal the Man. I mean, I'm familiar with them, but crazy name. Portugal the Man, Youngblood, Placebo, the Linda Lindas. Who else is playing? The original Misfits will perform their debut album, Walk Among Us, which turned 40 this year. Band members Glenn Danzig, Jerry Only, and Doyle Wolfgang von Frankenstein started using the moniker The Original Misfits in 2016 when they reunited to play Riot Fest. Yellow Card is also performing. Also on the bill at this year's Riot Fest, Ice Cube, Jimmy Eat World, The Front Bottoms, and The Wonder Years. Nine Inch Nails was previously set to headline last year's fest, but dropped out after canceling all of their 2021 tour dates. Slipknot took over for Nine Inch Nails last year. At the time, the festival only had announced, okay, so that's a pretty good, I like that. So My Chemical Romance, The Misfits, Nine Inch Nails, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, Bauhaus, Portugal the Man, Youngblood, Placebo, the Linda Lindas, Ice Cube, Jimmy Eat World, The Front Bottoms, and The Wonder Years. That sounds like that's a good one. All right, good job, Riot Fest. Good job for you. I won't be there, but I know a lot of people who will be, and I hope they all have a good time. Also, big concert news announced today, the Smashing Pumpkins and Jane's Addiction. If you're an old person. Smashing Pumpkins and Jane's Addiction are going out on tour. They've Alt Rock Legends announced a 32-date North American arena tour. Oh my God! And there's a recent picture of Billy Corgan. He's looking more and more like Uncle Fester than ever. Billy Corgan, he really does, because he's still got the bald. He's still got his look, but it's very Uncle Fester now. Very. All right, let's see what the dates are. Oh, check it out, dude. It kicks off October 2nd, right here in Dallas. The Pumpkins and Jane's Addiction kick off their tour on October the 2nd in Dallas at American Airlines Center. And then both bands will stay on the road for nearly 2 months, hitting basketball and hockey arenas in most major markets before concluding on November 19th at the Los Angeles/Hollywood Bowl. Okay, there you go. So I got to be honest with you. That would be a concert that I would definitely be interested in going to. Smashing Pumpkins and Jane's Addiction at American Airlines. I love Smashing Pumpkins, but not as much as I love Jane's Addiction. I was a bigger Jane's Addiction fan. I went to school with Billy Corgan. I think that's why. Like I always had Billy Corgan had before he was Billy Corgan, when he was just, oh God, he was so, I had a creative writing class with Billy Corgan when he was just the weird dude in the band that was in the class. And he used to, like, before the class would end, he would jump up first and he would run to the door of the classroom and he would have flyers for his band This stupid, and he'd stand there. Hey man, we're playing a club tonight at Still. We're playing a club tonight at Still. We're playing a show tonight at Club Still. We're playing, and he'd like hand these all out, and I'd be like, all right, 7 foot tall, and he didn't look like he looked now. He had long hair, long straight hair, like it was like almost down to his butt. And he was like super skinny. Like he was like a real skinny and really tall. And him being tall was accentuated by the fact that he wore these gigantic combat boots that added like 2 or 3 inches to his height. So he was like Slender Man before we knew who Slender Man was. It was like Billy Corgan was like this weird, creepy Slender Man who would just stand there and be like, come see my show. Come see my show. And we went and saw, I saw the Pumpkins a couple of times before because of that, you know what? This was even before, it was definitely before Chamberlain was playing with them. It was definitely, I remember Darcy, because I remember there was a girl in the band. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. But they used to play with another band that I liked called, the band was called Short Arm. It was Short Arm was the name of them. They always played with Short Arm. It's like they were best buddies with Short Arm. And Short Arm was called Short Arm because the lead singer had a baby arm. It was not making fun of I'm laughing about his ability to make fun of his situation by calling the band Short Arm. However, Baby Arm is a better name. Just objectively, Baby Arm is a better band name for a guy who's got a baby arm than calling it Short Arm. I imagine that was his decision. He was more comfortable with Short Arm than Baby Arm. Whatever. Maybe that's why Smashing Pumpkins are the ones that made it out of those two. But I love Jane's Addiction. Smashing Pumpkins, when they started to take off, again, is Rob in the chat room? Where's my guy, Rob Barr? Is he with us today? Rob was the lead singer in a band that I used to manage. I used to manage bands. And he was in one of the bands that I managed. He remembers because that was at the time when Smashing Pumpkins was taking off. We were like, we are in the right place, man. All of these bands are taking. I always sort of begrudgingly gave the Pumpkins respect. Begrudgingly. Because it was like, they're not even the best band in Chicago. They're like number 10, in my opinion, they were. I mean, I thought Urge Overkill and Material Issue were better, but both of those bands would go on to get signed as well. But hey. So anyway, here we are 20, 30 years later. I have a newfound respect for the Pumpkins. I listened back to that stuff. I'm like, you know what? It was good. I was just full of shit. I was just an angry, bitter kid who was managing competing bands and couldn't understand why. Couldn't understand why this band with this tall weirdo from my creative writing class is suddenly the band everybody's talking about. Meanwhile, go see Urge Overkill. Go see Material Issue. Those bands were better. Liz Phair. Why aren't you going to see Liz Phair? All right, so that's October 2nd at American Airlines Center. Smashing Pumpkins and Jane's Addiction. Okay. And we're going to end it with this. Here's the last one. This was trending. Did you see this? Okay. So running backs, actually there's a number of names. Running backs is trending, but also a number of running back names are trending because somebody on the Twitter box, they made a list. It said, the 25 best NFL running backs of all time. Okay. So they made one of these lists. I'll put the list up. Why not? I'll let you see it. Why not do that? And I will tell you the names that are... Okay, so 1, 2 on this list, they have Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, 1, 2, right? So both Barry Sanders and Walter Payton are trending because people are like, Walter Payton fans are like, Payton was better than Sanders, and Sanders people are like, Sanders is better than Payton. So there's an argument there. But look at the list. Can you see this list that this person made? It is a shite list, man. Jim Brown is number 12 behind Paul Hornung. Now, that is what I like to call intentional. There is no way that somebody who made this list believes that Jim Brown is the 12th best. He put Jim Brown at 12 so that people like me and everybody else would be like, are you insane? You have to put a hand grenade in any of these lists to get people's attention. And I believe that this was done intentionally, because in anybody's argument, the top three, and you can put it in any order that you want, the top three running backs of all time are either Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, or Jim Brown. You can move those around. If you have never seen highlights of Jim Brown playing football, oh my God, he could not be tackled. Jim Brown. And also, now that I'm getting a little biased here, Gale Sayers is at 21. Gale Sayers at 21. And excuse me, but O.J. Simpson. All right, I get it. Maybe he's being honest. So here's the running backs. Number one best running back of all time, Barry Sanders. I can't really argue with that. I mean, Barry Sanders was amazing. Number two, Walter Payton. I mean, for me, but I have a bias, I would put Walter Payton at number one. But, it's respect to Barry Sanders. I can see how that can be, somebody else's pick. Emmitt Smith, number three. Sorry, Dallas. No. Adrian Peterson, number four. Frank Gore, number five. Oh, hell no. Hell no. Earl Campbell, number six. Hell no. O.J. Simpson, number seven. Hell no. Tiki Barber, number eight. Hell no. Tony Dorsett, number nine. Should be higher on the list. That's just my pick. Mike Alstott is the number 10th best running back of all time. I don't see Bo Jackson on here. I don't see Paul Hornung is number 11. Jim Brown is number 12. That's bullshit. Jim Brown should be in the top three. You can arrange the top three any way you want. Marshawn Lynch, no. Yeah, I mean, good, definitely good, but Larry Zonka, Clinton Portis, Roger Craig, Marshall Faulk, man. Marshall Faulk deserves. Eric Dickerson is at 20. Eric Dickerson and Marshall Faulk are at 17 and 20 on the best running backs of all time. First of all, Eric Dickerson, Marshall Faulk, and Gale Sayers are top 10s on anybody's list. On anybody's list. I would begrudgingly say that maybe O.J. Simpson belongs at number 7, but I don't like to do it because it feels ooky. Emmitt Smith definitely belongs in the top 5, so they got him sort of right. Adrian Peterson, you could convince me otherwise, but there you go. That's the list. That's why running backs is trending. Running backs are Bo Jackson is trending because people are like, excuse me. I know he only played a couple of years, but excuse me. Let's see. Who else is a problem there? I don't know. It's just whatever. Clickbait. All right. And now I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at the chat room. And I'm certain that Adam Reyna has a big problem with something I've just said. There he is. There's Adam. Emmitt Smith is not in the same league as Barry Sanders. 100% agree with you. 100%. You and me, Adam. See, we can find our things. Yeah, exactly. Adam's like, the list did its objective. It got you to talk about it. Yeah, it got me to talk about it, and it got running backs trending, and it got like 3 different running back names, or 4 actually running back names trending. Walter Payton was trending, Barry Sanders was trending, Bo Jackson was trending, and Jim Brown. Jim Brown was trending at like number 1. Jim Brown was the one that people were really freaking out about, and I totally agree with that because Jim Brown, of course, I never saw him play live, but I have seen enough NFL films to know that was special, what Jim Brown did. And also, I mean, being completely fair, Barry Sanders played his entire career in the same division that my team was in. And in a market that wasn't very far away, we saw a whole lot of Detroit games. We played them twice a year. I believe, here's how I would parse it. I believe Walter Payton is the best football player that has ever played the game. He could pass with accuracy. He could catch out of the backfield in an era where that just wasn't done. He could punt. He could kick. He was the 3rd string quarterback on that team, and he was one of the greatest running backs. He was the greatest guy with the ball in his hand ever. You couldn't tackle him, and then if he was in the open field, he could break away from you. He just had all of these things. but Barry Sanders might be the best running back I've ever seen. Barry Sanders with the ball in his hand was like a freaking water bug. It was just, he was so frustrating. I mean, even my whole life growing up as a kid watching Barry Sanders play, and not even as a kid, as like an older, guy in his 20s and stuff, my team always had incredible defenses, specifically because of Barry Sanders. It was like, we need to have guys who can contain Barry Sanders. We couldn't do it. You just couldn't. Nobody could. Barry Sanders, I think Emmitt Smith is an incredibly talented running back, and he certainly does deserve to be talked about in the top 10, possibly even the top 5. This is no real disrespect to Emmitt Smith, but Emmitt Smith played on a loaded team. Emmitt Smith had how many Hall of Famers blocking for him? He had a Hall of Fame quarterback. He had Hall of Fame wide receivers. Emmitt Smith was on a loaded team. Barry Sanders played on top of a smoldering tire fire his entire career. Barry Sanders was the Detroit Lions. That was all they had. And this guy still ran for 100 yards a game. Minimum. Ridiculously talented Barry Sanders was. Ross Rubio, that's another good one. Where is Thurman Thomas? How come nobody's talking? How come Thurman Thomas isn't on this list? You could certainly, if we're talking about the top 20, Thurman Thomas deserves to be somewhere on there. I don't know. I love those lists though. And I always fall for them because, who doesn't like to be upset? Who doesn't like to be like, what? How dare you? But yeah, I mean, for me, any list, any top 5 of the greatest running backs of all time would be, and again, the top 3, that's fine. I'm comfortable with however you want to do the top 3 of Brown, Sanders, Peyton, Sanders, Brown, Peyton, whatever. That's fine. That's a reasonable debate that people can have. 4 and 5. I mean, I think Eric Dickerson, and I would just because of the yardage and just because of everything else, I would probably put Emmitt in there at number 5. But Eric Dickerson or even Marshall Faulk, man, I mean, those were good running backs. Those guys could play the game now. Oh, who's the other guy? How come? Here's one that's not on there. Where's LaDainian Tomlinson? Where's LaDainian? He was another running back from 20 years ago or so that I used to watch and go, oh my God. I go, this dude is one of the all-timers. Did LaDainian Tomlinson make that list? Let me see. Adam, did you see LaDainian Tomlinson? Let me see. Ross, anybody? I don't know. I lost it. I lost the list. Mark Ingram, Deuce McAllister, Fred Taylor, Amon Green makes the list, and LaDainian Tomlinson doesn't. Jerome Bettis, he was good too. Zonka doesn't belong on the list. I'm sorry, he doesn't. Paul Hornung doesn't belong on the list. Mike Alstott doesn't belong on the list. Tiki Barber doesn't belong on the list. Fred Taylor doesn't belong on the list. Craziness. Yeah, there's no LT. There is no LaDainian Tomlinson. All right. That's going to be it. All right, folks. Love you all. Again, be checking out the Facebook and the Twitter. I don't know that we're going to do a show tonight. Like I said, it's my kid's birthday, and I may have things. I may not have things. I don't know. I will know probably by 6:00, but please forgive me. Just give me the night off if you can. And we'll definitely be back tomorrow night for a Pillow Talk show. And we'll be back tomorrow. For High Noon and all of that good stuff. All right. So appreciate you. And I gotta go do. I gotta do stuff now. I gotta run around. I got surprises that I can't. What are we listening to? My kid's got the Spotify. Let's see what he's listening to right now. The birthday boy is listening to Reckless Eric. Oh, I know what he's doing. Hey, check this out. So you know what my kid discovered? All right, hold on. What? Do you guys remember this song from? Okay, so I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, there was a Christmas commercial. You know, Christmas commercials just run constantly. Like, oh God, not this commercial again. And they used the Kink song. I think What was it for? Was it for like an Apple product or something? Whatever. But they used the Kinks song Picture Book. And like Pictured Book was like the song of the year because of this stupid commercial. And entire generations of people who didn't even know who the Kinks were like, that's a great song in 2006. Yeah, well, it came out in 1966, but yeah, it is still a great song. And yeah, it does sound very much like modern alt rock. So, you know, my kid discovered Picture Book. Do you remember this song? Remember this from those commercials around Christmas time? My kid has discovered the Kinks, which I think is cool.
Picture yourself when you're getting old.
Anyway, there you go. I'm telling you, I was such a closed-minded little idiot back in the day. I was terrible. When I was a kid, any music that was made before 1980 was garbage because that's not my generation. That's old people music. I'm glad that my kid's not like that. My kid's like, oh, you know what? If it slaps, it slaps. That's a direct quote, by the way. That's a direct quote, which is a really good attitude to have. Just being, especially if you're going to fancy yourself as a creative, you know, and he does. He fancies himself as a bit of a creative. You got to do that. You got to be open. You got to be open to all the influences that came before. You can't be closed-minded. You can't be a dick. He even loves the John Hinckley, which, granted, started out as a bit, but it started out as a bit for a lot of you too. And now we all love John Hinckley. Okay, you guys are the best. Thank you so much. Sorry about tonight in advance because I just checked the text and it's not looking like we're going to do a show. So, see you tomorrow at noon for sure. 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 That's how you say it. All right, we'll see you tomorrow at noon for more High Noon. Bye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you so much. Tip the show if you can. You know, as always. Bye, guys.
It has been a journey, a multi-answer test. I am on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day, the best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I have got an old guitar, that is all I need. I don't need no 401, I don't have the greed. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day, the best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I can smile a little now, things are going good. I always had to be on guard, that is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.